Good afternoon. I welcome you for this third session. So from morning we have been doing sessions on various aspects in English. So now we have come to the third session and also the last session, crack exams in English, right? So let's see how we can go about it. First of all, since the medium of instruction has become English, in college education or in university education, you will have to write your exams in English. And also, in many of the places where you go for work, also you'll have to write your exams in English. Say, for example, SBA exam, PO exam, clerk exam. So, in some of the exams, even UGC NET exams. So, some of these exams are conducted in English. But our session is not focusing on the exams which are conducted in the medium of English language, whereas we are focusing on exams which are conducted exclusively to test your English. So today, we in this session, we are going to see, and before that, can anyone tell me, am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, thank you. So,
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, this is what. Now let's go to the thing. What are the exams? What are the screening exams that are conducted for English? As far as English is concerned, IELTS, TOEFL, BEC, Delta, and CELTA. These are some of the major exams. Along with BEC, there is one BULATS, and along with GRE, GMAT, the SAT, these are other exams are conducted. But these are the exams which are major and which are accepted by many countries. IELTS is required for Canada, Germany, UK, and in some parts of US. TOEFL is required for Netherlands, Ireland, Italy, and Japan. BEC is mostly accepted in India, UAE, Malaysia, and Singapore. Delta and CELTA, they both are required in US, Switzerland, UK, in some parts of Canada, and in some parts of UK, and in Mauritius, even UAE. These are some of the countries which require these exams. So in today's session, like in a short session like this, we cannot handle for all. So what I have done is today we will discuss more on IELTS and BEC. IELTS and BEC. Right? Let's start with IELTS. Let's start with IELTS. IELTS is nothing but International English Language Testing System. International English Language Testing System. This is what we call by the word IELTS. This is what we call by the word IELTS. Right? Is my screen visible?
No, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
So in IELTS, let's talk about the test. In IELTS, all candidates are tested in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. All candidates are tested in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So overall, the test is conducted for 2 hours and 45 minutes, during which you will have some break also. But the ultimate test time is 2 hours 45 minutes, in which the listening will go on for 30 minutes, reading will go on for 60 minutes, writing will go on for 60 minutes, and speaking will go on for 11 to 14 minutes. This is the tested breakup. So all the 4 skills are tested in IELTS. Like in listening test is conducted for 30 minutes. You will have 4 sessions. You will have 4 sections and 40 questions. Like they will give you real world listening situation. They will play some track. They will play some track, and based on the tracks you have to answer. You have to answer. So each track will have questions. Each track will have questions. So like where they may expect you to listening for a specific information like date, place, names, and understanding the gist of the content, and understanding how what the speaker is trying to say. So these are some of the skills, some of the things that are expected of in IELTS listening. So IELTS listening test is conducted for 30 minutes, and you'll have 4 sections and 40 questions, right? And in 4 questions, there will be one conversation. There will be first section, there will be one conversation where 2 speakers will be speaking, and in the section 2, a monologue. A monologue means only one person will be talking, and on the section 3, conversation will be there, and 4 speakers will be speaking. And in the section 4, a lecture will be there. So questions will be asked from all the 4. Questions will be asked from all the 4, right? And moving on to the reading. So the reading test will take up for 60 minutes. The reading test will be conducted for 60 minutes, and 3 reading passages will be given, and again 40 questions will be asked. And texts are taken from books, magazines, journals, and newspapers. So these texts will be taken from books, magazines, journals, and newspapers. And question types, like they may ask you to find detailed information. They may ask you to find detailed information and identify attitudes and views. Identify attitudes and views. And they may ask you to interpret a diagram. Right? So likewise, the questions may be asked. So how you can go about it? So first, what you have to do is you have to identify. Which skill is being tested. Even in reading skill, they may give passages where you understand and derive information. They may give you passages where you understand and comprehend and express, where you may also, and where they may also ask questions where you understand and interpret. So these things may be tested, and you'll have to general reading strategy. So you'll have to follow these skills. You'll have to follow this. So what you have to do is you have to equip yourself. You have to equip yourself in understanding, interpreting, and comprehending a given passage. It is not a kind of a thing where they just give and ask some questions where you can look for the answers within the text itself. This IELTS will not be like that. And coming to IELTS writing task. So the time will be 60 minutes and 2 tasks will be given. So one task will be a descriptive report of a table or a diagram. So sometimes they will give you a diagram or a table or even an image. They will ask you to explain it in 150 words. They will ask you to explain it in 150 words. And task 2 will be a 250 word essay in response to an opinion. So they may give you some topic. So based on the topic, you have to express your opinion. So you have to discuss the issues, and you have to construct an argument and use the tone. So like this task, IELTS writing task is not like what we write in our in general. It is like how we construct logical sentences. In an IELTS examination, the examiner will not evaluate our paper as our class teachers evaluate. So in a general examination, if we write 2 pages essay, naturally we will expect some 8 marks to 10 marks. But that you cannot expect in IELTS, right? So you cannot go and ask the examiner, I have written 250 words. Why can't you give me some marks? You can't ask like this. So you have to prepare well. You have to prepare well. So what you can do? How the general writing strategies? You have to read the questions very carefully. You have to read the questions very carefully, and you have to familiarize yourself with the description of data in newspaper. So what you can do is you can take a practice. Like in newspapers, they may give you some data or some chart or something. If you happen to see the business pages in all the newspapers, some chart or something would have been presented to us, and they would explain. So what we can do is we can keep on reading them. We can keep on reading them so that we will get practice to interpret such data, and we must practice this. We must practice this. What we need to practice? We must practice formulating own ideas on topics. See, for a general essay, if it is for a non-contextual writing, if it is a general writing, if you are writing a class assignment or something, then it is entirely different. I can just go and browse the topic, or I can refer some books and I can write it. But in an IELTS examination hall, we cannot browse or we cannot do anything. We have to coin our own ideas. So how we can practice? How we can practice? Dear participants, please note that very clearly. Please note that very clearly. If we want to write effectively, we must read effectively. Unless we read effectively, we can't write effectively. So what we have to do, we have to keep on practicing. We have to keep on practicing reading. So only when we keep on reading, naturally our writing skills will be developed. I will tell you one thing. You can take some 3 or 5 novels. Read all the 5 novels. After reading all the 5 novels, your language would have been increased, would have been enhanced. Because when you read, you get lot of input. You get lot of input. So this input will help you while you write your contents. And speaking 10 to 15 minutes, and again it will be a face-to-face interview. There will be 3 parts. In the first part, you have to introduce yourself, and he will ask you some questions, some general questions. What is your interest? What is your interest? And where are you from? Which part of the city you like? Which is your holiday destination? So you need not tell. They will not expect your accurate answer. They will expect only whether you are able to communicate or not. That's all. Say for example, if they ask what is your hobby, if your hobby is reading, you need not worry that okay, if I tell reading, will the examiner ask what is the recent book you have read? So they will not ask like that. They will not ask like that. So in an interview, it can be casual, as it will be a very casual talk, and part 2 will be an individual topic. They will give you one topic, or they will give you some 3 topics. You can choose one, and you can prepare a mini presentation, and you can talk. So they will give you 1 minute to prepare, and remaining 2 minutes you can talk. And in the part 3, there will be a discussion topic where speaking examination will be taken by 2 people. So what you can do is we can just discuss. Okay, just discuss, right? So again, coming to speaking, how we can take the speaking exam? Speaking, you have to speak fluently, and you have to link your ideas coherently, and you have to exhibit that you know a lot of words. The way to exhibit that you know a lot of words is to write and speak in different words. So please use different words. So please exhibit the examiner that you know some new words that will eventually increase your chances of getting a good score. And use an accurate grammar and appropriate register. Register is nothing but a coin, a word coined, a word, yes, an individual word coined for a particular task. And please speak in a way that the listener can understand. Because sometimes what happens, people will keep on talking, but at the end of the day, the listener will not understand anything. So please don't do that. Right? So what kind of a speaking strategies you have to follow? You see, in the part one, you have to take the initiative if possible. Say for example, as soon as you go and sit, you don't keep mum as if you are on a fasting. So please don't keep mum. Just say good morning. How are you? Like you can be casual to the examiner. So don't say that, okay, I am going and sitting, and they have to ask you. So it is not any kind of thing. You can just wish them a good morning. You can say, how are you? Hello, ma'am. Nice to meet you. So all these things you can initiate. All these things you can initiate, right? And sometimes, like say for example, if the examiner asks you one question, do you like tea? Don't simply say no, or don't simply say yes. Explain your answer, because see, they are not interested in knowing your habits. They are sitting there to analyze and to test whether you are able to talk or not. So if they ask, do you like tea? Don't simply conclude by saying yes or no. Expand it. Because if you say yes, yes, I like it, because it gives me some energy. No, I don't like it, because I don't. It affects my health. So this habit you have to have. Don't conclude. Don't give one word answers. Don't give one word answers. Even if they ask you, what is your favorite city? You say that London is my. You don't conclude by saying London. You say that London is my favorite city. If they ask what is your favorite tourist spot, don't simply conclude by Mauritius. Say that Mauritius is my tourist spot. You can also explain it why you like it, right? And try to overcome nerves. People, what will happen when they enter into the interview hall? On seeing the interview panel members, people will get afraid. So kindly avoid that. Kindly avoid that. Don't get nervous. See, this is an examination. You are going to exhibit your communication skill. You know to communicate well. Why don't you exhibit that? Why don't you show that? Why do you become nervous? So please don't become nervous. And for the part two, please take the time. They will give you 3 minutes. Take one full minute to prepare. They will give you papers and all. You can jot down your points. So what you can do is you talk with some interest. Don't talk like when the 2 minutes will end, when I can go out of this room. I have been an examiner in IELTS and BIC. What would happen? Many students will come. They will give the talk. So what will happen? They will just jot down something and they will read it and go. The test will be conducted for 3 minutes. But many of the people will feel that how can I exhibit my vocabulary within 3 minutes? But what will happen ultimately in the examination hall? If we give 3 minutes for part two, what will happen? In the first 2 minutes, they will jot down, they will write the points, and within half a minute or so, within half a minute or somewhere between 45 seconds or even to the maximum in 1 minute, they will read out whatever they have prepared and they will go. So this shows that you are not interested in the talk. So when you are given an opportunity, when you are given a task to talk, please express your interest. Please make the examiner to understand that okay, yeah, you are interested in talking. And part three, it is a kind of a discussion. So please give please give responses. Please explain it. Don't simply blabber something and go. Don't simply blabber something and go. Explain it. You have to explain and demonstrate your. See, when you read, the flow of language sometimes may be out of your control. That is very dangerous thing. Because if you are not able to control the way you speak, then see, controlling the way we speak is also a kind of self-control. You have to learn it for your life, because sometimes this is something out of IELTS I'm talking. Even in your real life situation, and also when you happen to talk to someone, if you feel that okay, or if you are not having any control, on your language, then obviously there is no self-control, right? Please think before you talk, and please show them that you can control your. Sometimes you may think something, but instantly your mind should say that okay, I should not speak this here, right? You have to control it, and please express ideas more clearly. Sometimes you may include some abstract ideas in your speech. So try to express it more clearly. Say, for example, if they say to discuss upon your favorite tourist destination, you say that I like Mauritius because I like the attractive nature. So you can express what kind of nature you like, what kind of a nature you like in Mauritius, what kind of places you like, why it is attractive. So because this kind of a thing will try to make the listener imagine that spot. If you are able to make the listener to imagine the spot or imagine the thought that you are talking, naturally your speech will be successful. So please note that whatever you talk, the listener should be able to imagine in his mind. And when you express your opinion, you have to support it. It is not just by it will not just end by expressing it. You have to explain. When you come to an opinion, please explain as well as express. Right? And you should also show that you are willing to provide some reply. You should also show that you are willing to provide some reply. Some people, what they will do, they will just start and they will just keep on reading, and finally the session will go on and they will go. So that should not be the thing. So when you start, you have to show your willingness to talk more, right? The person, the examiner should feel. See, let me tell you one thing. When in an IELTS speaking test, the test may be conducted for 1 day or 2 days. If in case if your test is going to be the second day, and if the examiner is really anxiety to pack to his hometown after the exams, and if you are showing a kind of a response, the examiner will say, okay, boy, you have saved, okay, boy or girl, you have saved my time, you can go, and he will reduce your marks and go. So even when it comes to the speaking part, the examiner may become tired because he is listening to a lot of people for a long time. So please it is your duty to make the listener, that is called the examiner, to feel excited about your speech. If you are able to do it successfully, then obviously you can get good grades. So, like IELTS is scored between 1 to 9. Band 0 means you have not taken the test. You have applied for the test, but you have not taken the test. And band 1, you are non-user. You are a non-user. And band 2, you are learning. You are a learner. Intermittent user is also called as a learner. And band 3, you are an extremely limited user. Because you are learning and you are using the languages with some set of vocabulary. Say, for example, some people would have learned some vocabulary and they would have managed the language with this vocabulary. If you ask them to write a page, that phrase, that particular phrase, say for example, if someone is comfortable with the phrase so on and so forth, if you ask them to write a page, the so on and so forth will be repeated not less than 5 or 6 times. Then naturally you will get only band 3. Naturally you will get only band 3 because you are an extremely limited user. And limited user, the difference between limited user and extremely limited user is that if the extremely limited user know 50 words, unlimited user may know 100 words. And band 5 is modest user. Okay, somehow you are accepted, right? And band 6, competent user. So this is your starting point. When it comes to band requirement of IELTS, up to my little knowledge, no other country or no company prefers candidate who has scored below 6. Below 6. 6 is the initial step. Even 6 is not accepted everywhere. 6 is accepted only in few places. So competent user has generally effective command of the language despite some. So what happens? The band 6 means you commit some inaccuracies. There are some inappropriateness in your language. You are not able to. Sometimes you misunderstand the text also, right? See, band 6 has all these flaws also. Band 6 has all these flaws also. But despite that, you are okay. You are able to manage and can use understand fairly complex language, particularly in familiar situations. Again, band 6 refers that only if you are exposed to a familiar situation, you can do well. Band 7 is good user. Band 8 is very good user, and band 9 is expert user. So band 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, and 9. So these 3, 7. So you must aim, if you are appearing for an IELTS test, you must aim for 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, or 9. Only if you score all these 7, 7.5, 8, 8.5, or 9, then you will get good and promising job. So these are some of the books that you can refer. Cambridge IELTS 3 Chances and Insight into IELTS by Melissa Jackman and Claire McDowell. Right. So now let's move on to BEC. Business English Certificate. It is an internationally recognized certificate exam. It comes in 3 levels. The first level of BEC is prelims, and the second level is Vantage, and third level is higher. And again, this test also focus English in 4 skills. Please note that BEC will not test your business knowledge. BEC will not know. BEC will not check how far you are familiar in marketing, how far you are familiar with corporate, how far you are familiar with the term called GDP. They will not check all this, but they will check, are you familiar with the terminologies? Let's say, for example, if there is a GDP, if the word called GDP, they may not test how far you understand GDP and all that, but they may expect you to know the full expansion of GDP, right? So that has to be that you should know. And say, for example, if there is called a business law, they may not know what is business law, what is needed and what is not, but they may expect you to know the meaning. So it will not test your specialization in business knowledge, but you have to be familiar with business terms. And again, BEC is set in international business. See, mostly hotels, restaurants, maritime, like luxury ships. People, employers from these avenues will require restaurant employees, marine ships employees, and even some of the bag processing units, like even in freight industry. You have a freight industry. In freight industry, BEC is required, right? And so again, BEC will test how you are able to work in an international business and how you are able to communicate essential business needs. So these are the things that it will test you. Why you have to take big exam? Because it is an international recognition for work. Even in some of the places, some of the countries like Ireland and all, for some courses some courses like MBA, BBA, and some business related courses, they may require BEC certificate. They may require BEC certificate. So once you finish BEC, you may have lot of business opportunities. And again, BEC is used by hundreds of employees. Even some companies, our academy, let me tell you, our academy, we are operating in some of the companies. Some companies have requested to train their employers in taking BEC. See, the role of an employer is just to get the work done and pay, but some companies show interest that my candidate should be BEC certified candidate. So they have requested it, and we are now doing it for some companies. And even some companies require staff who has completed BEC. So in some of the companies, when you go for interview in the application form itself, they would ask, have you cleared any tests like IELTS, TOEFL, CELTA, BEC, and all that. So if you are a BEC qualified candidate, then naturally it will give some advantage to you. And this BEC is also required for studies. This BEC is also required for studies. It is used by many universities. These are the 3 levels. If you take the preliminary, there is 2 levels, B1 and A2. B1 means you are a very minimum user. Wastage means okay, you are up to the mark. And BEC Vantage. Again, in BEC Vantage, you have B2. Okay, somehow you are able to manage. And BEC Higher, you have C1 and C2. C1 refers to somehow you are proficient, and C2 refers that you are a master of language. This is the Council of Europe levels. When it comes to BEC, there are two authorities. Cambridge GS OL was one. This Cambridge GS OL is CPE, CAE, FCE, PET, KET. But Council of Europe levels is C1, B2, B1, and A2. Though the terminologies vary, the implied term that CPE and C2 refers to a master user. So only the terminology varies between ESOL and Europe level. And of course, you can take the examination wherever you like. So now coming to the papers, the preliminary has reading and writing for 1 hour 30 minutes, and writing for 40 minutes, and speaking for 12 minutes. The Vantage has reading for 1 hour, and writing for 45 minutes, and listening for 40 minutes, and speaking for 14 minutes. BEC Higher has 1 hour reading time, and writing 1 hour 10 minutes, and listening just 40 minutes, and speaking is 16 minutes. So the reading is given importance at the Vantage and higher level. Reading and writing are given much importance at the Vantage and higher level. But listening remains the same in all the levels. And speaking is given some importance in Vantage and the higher level. So, like in the first part of preliminary, both reading and writing joined together is given only 1 hour 30 minutes. That's a reasonable time. And when you come to speaking, they have given 12 minutes, 14 minutes, and 16 minutes. That includes, in BEC, they test 2 candidates. Two candidates have to go simultaneously. So how you can develop reading? How the reading test? It is like the reading test in BEC. The reading test in BEC test how you are able to read different types of text. And how you are able to understand and analyze. Right? And in the writing part, the part 1, they may ask you to write some memo or some notes for some 70 words or 30 words, some mail, right? But whereas the part 2, in the preliminary, they will ask you to write a business correspondence, like some ad, you write some report, you write, they may ask. And in the Vantage, again, business proposal, project proposal, they may ask you to write. And in the higher level, they may ask you to write business proposal or correspondence or report. So anything may be asked. So when it comes to listening, in Beck, the listening tracks will be played twice. In fact, the listening tracks will be played twice. All listening tracks are played twice, and for like they will give you a 30 minutes of listening. They'll give you 30 minutes to listen and the remaining 10 minutes to answer. So you can read it you can listen it at your leisure, and they will give you the papers. And if it is online test, there will be some, you can open a new tab and you can also take notes. If it is a paper-based test, you can make notes in the last page. And parts and speaking, again 3 parts. So interlocutor means the person who is talking to you. So in the first part, the person will you have to talk to the interview panel members. And in the part 2, there will be one mini presentation. And in the part 3, you have to discuss with the fellow exam taker. And all the 3 will be discussing. So this is how it will go on. And great. When it comes to the preliminary, you have to pass. If you want to pass with merit, you have to score minimum of 80%, and pass means 65 to 79, and failing means 60 to 64, and pass means 59 and fail means 59 and below. So these are the grades in BEC preliminary. And BEC Vantage and higher, in grade A and B means 80 and above, B 75 to 79, C 60 to 74, grade D 55 to 59, and grade E 54. So grade D and grade E is failure. Grade D and grade E is failure. Grade A, B, C only pass. Grade A, B, C only pass. And if you pass successfully, you will receive a certificate maybe some 3 months after the results. So far we have discussed the pattern, right? This pattern we have discussed. Because why I have not explained much detail into it, because this is something that you know. Now I want to focus more on strategies, how you are going to write, how you are going to familiarize yourself. That is why I have not dealt much on the test model, because I wanted you to understand how the test go on. And when it comes to general strategies, the general strategies are not common only for BEC and IELTS. They are common for almost all the sessions, all the exams. Almost all the exams will have if you follow these general strategies, I'm damn sure that you can clear any exam. You can clear IELTS, you can clear BEC, you can clear CELTA, you can clear TUTA, you can clear TOEFL, right? The first thing, you have to be fully prepared to respond the questions asked by the examiner. See, this response, be prepared in the sense, we are not asking you to take any rehearsal or anything. Mentally, you should be prepared. Mentally, you should be prepared. See, let me tell you one thing. As an examiner, also as an interviewer, in many of the places, it is my personal opinion that when you interview a candidate, the candidate shows some kind of response because he feels that he has to get the job. But when it comes to exams like IELTS and BEC, the examiners do not show much of interest because they think that it is an exam. They think that it is an exam anyway. They will make me pass. Then why I should put so much of effort? So many of the examiners are not prepared mentally, even though they are able to talk. And kindly explain your answers. Kindly explain your answer. And what some people will do now, as I have already told you, within the 1 minute, they will try to write the whole script. and read it out. Please don't do that. Just jot some point and try to use that point. Even do not read the key paper. You can just see and you can just highlight it. You can just highlight it. And maybe what you can do is you can prepare some topic. You can prepare some topic and you can talk on it. And you can talk on it. You can switch on your stopwatch so that you can calculate how long you are able to talk. How long you are able to talk. So that you can do. That you can do. That you can do. And again, for discussion session, you have to rephrase the question in your own words. So what you can do is you have to they may have given the question something. So what you can do is you don't just copy, lift it up and put it in your speaking script. And like sometimes when you use the keywords, make sure that they may not become ambiguous. The examiner might not understand. So do not use a keyword which will make the talk unfamiliar or which will make the examiner not to understand what you're talking. Right? And you must also explain yourself. Do you have a clear view on the questions? And please, when you explain, when you talk, please ensure that you are able to give proper reasons to support your opinion. Say, for example, you say that Mauritius is a good country, you should support it. You should explain it. You should explain it, right? And coming to writing. So the previous thing we have discussed about speaking. Now I'm giving some tips for you to write. So what you have to do in the initial paragraph, I mean in the first paragraph, in any exam, writing task, you need to write the second passage. In the second task, you need to write at least 2 to 3 passages. So if it is the second task, the initial paragraph, or if it is the first task, only one paragraph will be there. So kindly paraphrase the question. Again, here do not lift the question. Many candidates, what they will do, they will lift the question phrase and put it as their first phrase, because they often suffer in searching of new words. So don't do that. Don't do that. Just coin your own phrases with the phrases that are given in the question paper. And again, like you can start the paraphrase. You can start the paraphrase with some prompts. With some prompts like I'm trying to explain this passage. Tries to talk. This is an attempt to explain. So now you have explained the first sentence, and in the second sentence you have to write an overview. So this is how you have to go on. And please change the noun and adjective phrases into verbs and adverbs to create a range of expressions. Sometimes, see, don't keep on repeating one word. If you do not get many words, what you can do is you can convert a noun into verb, and you can convert a noun into adjective and adverb into a verb. So why don't you do that? Why don't you do that? See, for example, a slight increase can be converted again into increase slightly. So if you have to repeat slight increase, why don't you change it? Why don't you convert into some other forms of parts of speech? And also you can try to learn a few ways to say something, same thing, but like say for example, if you have to repeat increase, why don't you learn some new words? Go up, rise, hike. Why don't you learn some words like this? Because, so that you need not repeat. And describe the most general strengths in the second paragraph. So in the first paragraph, an introduction thing can be given, but when it comes to the second paragraph, kindly explain it. And kindly add link to help your essay, to help with its cohesion and coherence. Say for example, in first sentence you are explaining something, you are continuing into the next sentence. So please see to that you link these two sentences. You link these two sentences in order to have a cohesion. Say for example, you can use in addition, furthermore, however, although, and on the third paragraph, you need to give a detailed description. You need to give detailed description, and you can add data, support your argument, and also you can conclude. So again, when it comes to writing part, please don't describe all small details, because again, some writers may not be able to complete it within the number of words given. So, one advantage, if you are taking a computer-based test, the system will show you how many words are remaining. But if you are taking a paper-based test, you will not be able to count. So after writing something, you count and you have reached 140. If you have to write for 300 words, you have already reached 290. You have already reached 290 words, but still you need to explain few more things. Then naturally you will be exhausted. And I personally advise you to go for a computer-based test. Go for a computer-based test, because in a computer-based test, everything will be proper, and moreover, they will not check your handwriting. They will not check your handwriting, because some people may have poor handwriting. Even I myself is the best example. I have very poor handwriting, so I have opted for computer-based test. So, and computer-based test, you will have an option for erasing, but you can't do that in a written-based test, because in a written-based test you can strike out. But in a computer-based test, you can just delete it and you can retype it, right? But at the same time, if you are going for a computer-based test, there's one disadvantage. You have to be very familiar and very careful while typing. There are some people who make typographical errors, but unfortunately, typographical errors will not be deducted by the system. If you type in an MS Word, that will be deducted. But if you type in the IELTS test screen, that will not be deducted. So if you are not familiar with typing, you can go for paper-based test. But what I personally suggest you is that you can learn typing and you can go for computer-based test. And moreover, one advantage of computer-based test, you will get your results more quickly, right? And sometimes you don't have to write a conclusion. Sometimes you have to write a conclusion in the sense you don't need to provide a solution. You don't need to provide a solution for what you are writing, but what you have to do, you have to make them see more that you have completed. Completed. You can complete it. You can complete your writing, but you need not conclude the argument, because that is not needed. They are going to test you after all in your language. So they will check you whether you are able to introduce an idea and you are able to complete it. That's all. They will not be checking what conclusion you have given. They will not be checking, okay, this fellow has given this conclusion, is it right or wrong? They will not check all this. They will check only if you are able to start and finish it. That's all. And kindly again, please, sometime in many of the places, even an expert user and a brilliant student can commit spelling errors, and spelling errors is always a common for all. Please don't commit any spelling errors. And again, punctuation marks, sometimes you might have missed a full stop or comma something, so please see them carefully. And listening, so when it comes to listening test, kindly improve your general listening skills. Try to listen to some newspapers, news channels, and try to listen to some English songs. Try to watch some movies with subtitles. This will increase your listening skills. And kindly, please familiarize, because when you listen, what happens? You familiarize yourself with the vocabulary. You familiarize yourself with the pronunciation. You familiarize yourself with the pronunciation. All this will happen when you listen. So please do them. Please do that. And also, please familiar of the word types. Sometimes, say for example, this word read. Right? Read. This read is written read. but when it is pronounced as red. So please be familiar with them. So please don't hear red as and write RED red, right? Because some students will do that. Right? And plug in the situation. You please see, if you are taking BIC or IELTS, whatever it is, the listening test will happen in a very closed room. You will feel completely out of water in the listening situation. So please be please adapt yourself to the situation. It is a matter of some half an hour. Forget the outer world. Become a part of the situation, and kindly don't lose attention. Because what many students will do now, when they start BIC test or IELTS test, this listening, they will put the headset and all that. Naturally, when they put headset, they will come to mindset that they are listening to some song. So they will sit in a way that they listen to some song and they will lose their attention. So please don't do that. Please note carefully that you are listening to an examination track, right? And please, sometimes you need to understand. You cannot decipher or you cannot understand all the words. Even it happens to me. If I listen to a native speaker, I can't listen or I can't understand word by word. So you can understand some indicators and you can comprehend the meaning, right? And when they say time, date, years, please note it down. And don't try to answer too quickly. And one more thing, in the listening, the questions will be given before the track is played. In listening, the questions will be given before the track is played. So please don't try to answer too quickly. Sometimes what will happen in a conversation, say for example, they might have given the question. When does the flight start? So what happened? One person will ask, is the flight starts at 8:15? What these people, the listener will do, 8:15 immediately they will listen and they will write. But the other person may say that no, it's not start by 8:15, it starts by 8:45. So the 8:45 becomes the correct answer. 8:45 becomes the correct answer, right? And again, recording is played once or twice. It depends upon the exam. Read the questions carefully before you listen. In all the exams, whether it is IELTS, TOEFL, or BIC, or whatever it is, they will give you the questions before the listening track is played. So please read the questions carefully, and again, please familiarize yourself. What is expected of you? Do you have to complete a chart? Do you have to select a correct picture? Do you have to note take, or do you have to answer multiple choice questions? So familiarize yourself with all the question types. Read the question twice or thrice before the recording is played. And sometimes what happened, when you write, you would have written 8:45, but you would have you would have heard it 8:15, but you would have written it 8:45. So that may happen. So once again, after completing it, please revise it. And sometime what problem will come to many of the people, they will hear it properly, but they will make mistakes while transferring. And please don't leave any blank answers. If you leave any blank answers, it makes the examiner to understand that you have not listened to the text properly. Right or wrong, fill the blank. That's all. There is no negative marking. Reading. So again, when it comes to reading, take time. See, in all the tests, the reading part is given on nearly 30 to 40 minutes. So take time. Read the text thrice or 4 times, 5 times you can read. Right? And please read the text carefully. Read every word, even please understand the punctuation marks, and please become an expert in scanning. Scanning in the sense, I'm not talking about computer scanning or mobile scanning. I'm talking about in reading, there is one process called scanning. It is quickly gathering the idea. So please read many texts before you start your test. before you start your IELTS test, please read lot of text to understand whether you are able to gather some idea or not. And kindly see some words you may not understand. For some words you may not know the meaning also. Don't worry about it. Leave it. Let me tell you one thing. In a passage of 150 or 300 words, you will not lose anything if you don't understand the meaning of some 3 to 4 words, right? And kindly improve your reading speed, because the more you are able to read fast, the number of times you can read more. If you are able to read fast, you can read the text even 7 times. That will increase your chances. That will increase your chances of getting fast. So this is all about. So I have briefly explained. All the things. So now let's imagine. Let's imagine that you are in a kind of an exam. You are going for an examination. These examinations, please don't worry about any examination for that matter. You don't worry about any exam for that matter, right? You can be very flexible. You can be very cool, right? Let me show you some of the exam sheets. Just a minute, I will show you some sheets. See, like you should spend at least 40 minutes. This is the task to write the following task. Modern technology now allows rapid and uncontrolled access to an exchange of information far from being beneficial. This is a danger to our societies. What are your views? So the questions will be of this kind. See, now the examiner will not test your views. He will not test whether you are whether you are supporting or whether you are opposing. The examiner will not mind. It is none of his business. He will check only whether you are able to introduce the topic. So what you have to do, you have in the first sentence you have to introduce the topic and you have to explain it. And in the second paragraph you have to explain it more. And in the third paragraph you have to explain more. And on the last sentence you have to complete it. Please note that you need not conclude. You have to complete it, right? So likewise, this is just one question. So likewise, there are many questions. What I will do is, maybe we have some like test sheets. If you can send us a mail, we will mail you. We have with us we have a few resources. we have a few ebooks, we have some practice tests. So what we will do is, we will if you want, you can mail me. I think I have given you the I have given you my mobile number, and also our email address, and also our website. So we will you can stay connected with us at any time. Whenever you want any information, you can just mail us, or you can just text us. We will help you. See, our academy, like, we want people to grow up in life. That's all. That is what we have. So I hope you have found you have found all the sessions very much useful. We will post the feedback link. You can fill up the feedback on YouTube viewers also. For YouTube viewers also, the feedback link will be posted in the chat box. So you can just fill in the feedback link. You can the certificates will be sent to you within tomorrow. You will receive the certificates. So I will post the feedback link. So you can fill it up, and you can get the certificates by tomorrow. For further, if you want to learn anything new, or if you want to have if you want to have any if you want to have a better develop of knowledge, you can just come to us at any time. We will help you, and we will support you. Thank you. Kindly wait. I will share the feedback link.